Hey everybody, it's Dr. Lori, and I want to thank you for being here. As always, I really appreciate it, and I'm happy to be here because I get to talk about something that is near and dear to me, and that's inflammation. And I want you to know about this because it is so important for your health. It is, in fact, one of the most important things you can ever focus on in terms of creating better health, okay? So this is inflammation, and low-level inflammation is not your best friend. What you want to do is you want to reverse this inflammation, and today I'm going to show you, just give you some tips on how to get started in doing that. And so what I would like to do is just go quickly over the couple different types of inflammation there is so that you know the difference. And then what I want to do is give you some tips on how you can start right away reversing inflammation, because that's going to promote longevity, it's going to promote a healthy quality of life, the best health, okay? So that's what we want, that's what I want for you. And so there's a couple different types, as I mentioned, and the first type is called acute inflammation. And it's not so cute because it gets your attention, it's uncomfortable, it's not fun to be with, it hurts, it's painful, it stings, it aches. That's acute inflammation, and unfortunately, despite the fact that it's uncomfortable, we really need it. It's very important, it's an immune response, right? So it looks like that head cold or that horrible flu, that cut on the finger or a skinned knee. So those are examples of acute inflammation. So let's take the cut on the finger. When you cut your finger, an enormous amount of inflammatory molecules are released, and soldiers, if you will, rush to the site to repair the wound. They repair the wound heals, the soldiers go away, the inflammation goes away, and all is well. That's acute inflammation. So we need it. It's a necessary part of our immune system. Without it, we're sitting ducks, really. We wouldn't be alive. Now, the next type of inflammation is called silent inflammation, or sometimes it's called low-level inflammation. And this type of inflammation is the core underlying cause of most illness, disease, faster aging, and weight gain, okay? So the name silent is pretty insidious, isn't it? It sounds dangerous, and it is. This is the kind of inflammation that will really wreak havoc with your health and your life. And so we want to make sure that we reverse this type of inflammation. This is the kind that we want to reverse. The other type, acute, I call it loud inflammation because you know it's there, and it goes away, right? But with silent inflammation, you don't know it's there necessarily. 9 out of 10 don't know it's there. And in fact, 3 out of 4 people have silent inflammation and they don't even know it. So, that's why I'm highly recommending to all of you to live an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. That is going to be your ticket to a healthier life. And so silent inflammation, as I mentioned, is the core underlying cause of most illness, disease, faster aging, and weight gain. And, it's really unfortunate because most people don't know that they have it. But silent inflammation is like having a sore on the inside of your body that never heals, okay? So it looks like diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, obesity, including osteoporosis, and the list goes on and on. So we want to make sure that we reverse this type of inflammation. And to do that, we need to eat an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And I don't know how many of you remember the celebrity Star Jones. Remember her? Well, Star Jones is a very lucky lady because she explained very emotionally and poignantly that she awakened on a hospital bed with tubes and more invading her life. She said, they took my heart out, they stopped it, and then they put it back in. Now, how does this happen to a woman who's only 42 years old, right? 42. And I guess if you're 19, that may seem older to you, but really she is in the prime of her life. And the comedic actor, John Candy, he had a massive heart attack at the age of 43. So again, I, ask you, how does this happen? Well, silent inflammation is what happened. And so let's start by looking at what you can do to reverse this inflammation. And again, remember that a lot of people don't know they have it. So you get to eat your way out of this, right? So I want your plate to be half vegetables, all right? That's an anti-inflammatory plate. And the reason I want that is because vegetables, and especially leafy greens, are extremely beneficial. They feed your mitochondria, if you will. They create healthy mitochondria, which are the engines of our cells. And if they're not healthy, if they're not functioning optimally, then you aren't either. Inflammation and poor mitochondrial health go hand in hand, okay? So leafy greens are your best friend in terms of promoting cellular health. So we want half your plate veggies, and then we want to add in healthy fats. We want to add in fats like avocados and nuts, such as macadamia nuts, and seeds such as chia seeds. Any type of nut or seed is excellent in terms of a healthy fat. We want whole eggs because the yolk is packed with healthy nutrients. And we want healthy cooking oils because those offer a direct source of inflammation if you're using the wrong oils. So if you're using oils that such as canola oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, soy oil, for example, those are very high in omega-6 fat. And back in the day, long time before you and I were born, they were in balance, omega-3 and omega-6, 1-to-1. Both healthy fats, right? But now, because the food supply is packed with omega-6 fat, because most people are eating a diet that is unhealthy, and these omega-6 fats are keeping us and making us fat and sick. So it's really important to get that balance down. You want to get it back 3 to 6, 1-to-1. Right now, it's 1 to 28, and that's staggering, and that's in favor of the omega-6 fat. So that's one of the goals in reversing inflammation. And by the way, when you reverse inflammation, cellular inflammation, you are also going to lose weight. So that's really an important thing. So what we want to do is replace the unhealthy cooking oils with healthy cooking oils such as avocado oil, macadamia nut oil, coconut oil, or olive oil. Now the thing with hi Fran, how are you? The thing with the olive oil though, you don't want to heat it to a high heat, just to saute or use it in your salad plain cold. Because when you heat it to a high heat, it degrades the fat, okay, the olive oil, and it turns inflammatory. And that's the last thing we want to do is ingest something that's inflammatory. So make sure that you swap out your cooking oils. And then the next thing I'd like you to do is pay attention to the types, not just the fats you're eating, but like if you're not using spices, use spices and really go to town using them, because these spices, even though you use a small amount, you have a really great, powerful effect. They are excellent, and I really recommend that you get used to using them in all of your cooking because they benefit you greatly in terms of reversing inflammation, like rosemary or basil, for example, are excellent spices. The spice turmeric is an excellent spice to use in your cooking, and you can use these spices pretty much anywhere, even, if you aren't adverse to using it in your smoothie, you can actually do that as well. So spices are very good. Now, what you want to do is make sure you increase the fiber in your diet, and that is going to feed the healthy gut bugs, okay? A healthier gut means less inflammation for you, because if you remember my prior video on gut health, I talk about how fiber actually feeds the beneficial bacteria, and that means optimal health, mental wellness, and weight loss as well. So you're fighting inflammation in that sense. Now, we want to talk about supplements, okay? Because supplements are a very important part of reversing cellular inflammation. Now, the first supplement I want to talk about is omega-3 fat. Now, this is a healthy fat this is another one that I want you to get into your diet in food form as well. Okay, I want you to get in the wild salmon, the rainbow trout, get in the oysters, the anchovies, the sardines, and the omega-3 eggs if you can, walnuts. Although vegetable sources are fine, the conversion to the type of DHA that I want is not really that reliable. So if you are a vegan or you can't ingest fish for any reason, opt for an algae-derived DHA supplement. That's really going to benefit you as well. So when you ingest an omega-3 supplement, you are saturating that cell. That cell, it's like holding a cloth under water, saturating that cloth with water. That's what you're doing on a therapeutic level within the cell with omega-3. And that's what we want. We want to reverse that inflammation within the cell. It reverses inflammation within the fat cell as well. And I'd like to, after I talk about the supplements, talk a little bit about fat inflammation, fat cell inflammation, because that's another type of inflammation that's important to know about. So the next, I want you to get the omega-3, make sure it's purified, okay? And again, if you can't take fish oil, make sure to take an algae-derived DHA. The next one is turmeric. Now, I want you to use a spice as well, but I'd rather you in supplement form, use curcumin, which is the active component of turmeric. It is what provides that powerful anti-inflammatory effect. Now, studies have shown that turmeric will reverse inflammation in the body as effectively and equally as drugs such as Motrin or Advil. So isn't that great to know? And you're not hurting your health. You are benefiting your health. You're reversing inflammation. You're creating better brain health, and you're shrinking your belly fat cells with turmeric. So very important, hi Pat, to get that in as well. And the next supplement that I would like you to look at and consider is magnesium, because most people are deficient in magnesium. It's required, this mineral, for almost every process in the human body, and over 300 processes. That's why people sometimes are tired and they don't feel great. They're just simply lacking magnesium, and it's going to help you fight and reverse inflammation as well. It's going to balance your blood sugar and reduce stress and anxiety. So very important to get that mineral in. And the last supplement, now there are many supplements you can take, but these are the 4 that I recommend. The last supplement is tart cherry extract. It's very good in terms of reversing cellular inflammation, especially if you have achy joints. This is your go-to. Give it about 2 weeks to work, and you'll be a happy camper. All right? So I wanted to, hi Norvell, how are you? I wanted to talk to you about fat cell inflammation, or what I call or refer to as fatflammation. It is another type of inflammation, and it's the silent inflammation of our fat cells. So when we eat the typical standard American diet, for example, which is very unhealthy, it's high in processed junk foods and sugar and that type of food. Sugar is your #1 inflammatory food, by the way, so you want to eradicate that like you want to eradicate those anti-inflammatory cooking oils, right? And of course, you all know to get rid of the junk food. But when you eat foods like that, you inflame your fat cells and you store sugar and you store fat and other compounds in the fat cell that creates a fat cell that acts like it's infected, if you will. It's not a happy fat cell. So it begins to emit a trickle of inflammatory molecules. And like silent inflammation, it's just a trickle, okay? And you would think, well, that's not so bad. It's better to have a trickle than a lot, like with acute inflammation. Remember I was telling you about that? Well, it isn't, because again, it doesn't go away unless you intervene. And so what happens is this: you have this metabolic effect that slows down your metabolism, and this creates inflammation and weight gain for you. So when you eat an anti-inflammatory diet, such as the Mediterranean diet or a diet that from my book, How to Fight Fatflammation, you will absolutely shrink those fat cells. And there are specific foods that will do that, like, for example, turmeric. Turmeric will go directly to the fat cell to shrink it, especially the belly fat cells. And blueberries will do the same thing. They're very important in terms of reversing fat cell inflammation. So in terms of fruit, make sure you get low sugar fruit, because fruit is very important for your overall health. But high sugar fruit in excess, and most people eat high sugar fruit in excess, such as bananas or mangoes or papayas, that type of fruit is, if it's fine once in a while, but if you have it a lot, it is metabolized by the liver, okay? And fructose, the fruit in fruit, the fruit sugar in fruit, is the only sugar metabolized by the liver. And if you're eating a diet that's high in sugar, high in refined carbohydrates, then you are having weight gain issues typically, and inflammation as well. So we want to stop that. And we want to reduce excess carbohydrate intake. There is a lot of research out there showing that excess carbs are promoting fat cell inflammation and weight gain. There's research showing that the ketogenic diet, that intermittent fasting are excellent in terms of reversing low-level inflammation within the body, okay? Very, very effective in doing that. So again, it goes to the carbohydrate intake. If you can reduce that amount that you're ingesting, you will absolutely be breaking down inflammation. And thank you, Mary Kay. That's a great tip. Mary Kay says that lemons are one of our best friends and break down inflammation. That is true. A very alkalizing in the body. And for example, this morning I put a tweet out sharing that just simply drinking lemon water is going to help promote better health for you. It's going to help reduce fat cell inflammation and much more. So it's really a benefit in terms of your overall health. So thank you for that, Mary Kay. Appreciate it. And so think about all of these things. Start adding making half your plate veggies however you want them. It's all up to you. But just taking action on one thing is really going to be key. And that's really what I'm here to help you with, is to give you actionable tips that you can utilize, because if you don't, that means it's just information and it's not being utilized, right? Just information. So I want you to use it, and I want you to be healthy, and as you know, I'm here for you. So if you have any questions about this, I've written extensively about inflammation. You can find it on my website, drlorieShemek.com. And in the meantime, you know where to find me. I will answer your messages, leave comments, and thank you very much, Mary Kay. I appreciate that. And if you like it, please feel free to share it, and it will help somebody else who probably doesn't know they have low-level inflammation, okay? So just remember to take care of your health, take care of that inflammation, and I promise you it's going to make the world of difference in how you feel, how the quality of life that you have, and the weight that you have as well. All right? So remember to contact me if you need me. And in the meantime, I will bid you goodbye and in good health as well. So take care, and I will see you next week. See you later.